Now, the rest of the story.
We aren't quite 24 hours from this stuff being cut yesterday. I'm down here to finish the neighbor's place, and this was some of the first, not the first stuff I cut. I take that back. This was cut about 2:30 in the afternoon. It's currently 11 o'clock in the morning. By the time I got done with chores and all my prep stuff and bring the four-wheeler down here, I can at least, it's a lot easier to come down and check this stuff than walking it with the truck. But it is 70 degrees out, no sun whatsoever. There's not supposed to be any for the rest of the day, and pretty much lost all stock in caring about what the weather says, because they were calling for a chance of rain today. That was a couple days ago. Well, last night at like 10 o'clock, I was still down here, and Brittany sent me a text, and it was the forecast for today, and they were calling for rain for all day Saturday. And as of right now, there's a 30% chance of rain. Today is Saturday. There's a 30% chance of rain at 3 o'clock. A 30% chance of rain on this, even in the next 5 hours, is not going to hurt it. So I'm still trying to protect the quality here. Our best drying days are Sunday, Monday. So there's some other hay that is on the ground. The first stuff that we made, or that we cut, don't know if that'll go, but I have 5 acres of a neighbor's place that I'm making for him. I'm gonna see if we can't maybe get that made tomorrow night. It's just that much less messing around. I mean, I can technically run 3 balers if I had the ability to. My only problem is that rhino rake, I don't think will keep ahead of 2 balers. I mean, not the 2 big balers at least. And that 566 would at least get something done, but all the brown stuff here isn't exactly desired by most. But at this point, I'm looking for cow feed. That's what it boils down to. When the weather's been dry and feed has been short, even if I miraculously sell any more of this, which it doesn't look like I'm going to, even if I would have taken any of this to the sales barn, it would go for well towards the top of the market. Maybe not well, I've had this stuff sell for top of the market before, so I don't know. I'm gonna come down and get this tedded out tomorrow in the sun, try to get down here bright and early. This is only a third of the farm that's been windrowed. Then probably fraction, maybe like 5% of the rest of the farm is going to be windrowed like this. I mean, I have the second bottom I got to go do. I mean, yes, there is actually a separate bottom down here. Not very big, but it still gets by 8 to 10 bales. I'm going to windrow that. I'm going to go do that first, and then I'm going to switch the deer mower back over to laying it out flat, because some of that material is light enough. Windrowing it isn't going to do me much good, because the whole reason I windrow it is to help the ground dry out, which it has, but it also is easier to ted it out, a windrow, than tedding out hay that's been laid out flat. You just tear teeth off. And this stuff, I don't have to run the tedder on the ground. I'll be able to hit it and flick it, which is what I want. And then hopefully within 5 hours here, we'll be done cutting hay for 2023, and we can get focused on not so much starting harvest. I got a couple rando projects I'd like to do before we get rolling with the combine. And this is what it looks like after I get it tedded out. The stuff, this particular piece that we're looking at was done, oh, it was cut 2 days ago now. And see, the stuff that was exposed to the sun is obviously drier. Then you flip it over, we got water standing on it yet. So when you windrow it like this, it's basically protecting, if you want to say that, everything underneath of it from the elements. So the little bit of rain we got last night has seeped down through it, and by going through with the tedder, I'm not running it right on the ground. I don't have to run it super low, but what I'm doing is, I'm just going to call it a crust, but you're going through and you're breaking open this top crust and you're exposing everything underneath. There's a chance of rain tomorrow night. I'm just going to deal with it. I'm hoping it's not really going to amount to more than what all the past rains have done for us. So I guess it's, you know, playing chicken with the weather. But I guess that's gambling. We'll get this stuff tedded out, let it lay tomorrow. There's a chance of rains tomorrow night into the next day. And by the time it does rain on it, we give it a day or so to dry out. I'm figuring it'll probably be Thursday before we get a chance to get this stuff made. As long as it isn't a hard pounding rain, I'm not super duper concerned about it. For how much moisture we're getting overnight and for how cold it's getting at night, I don't really think it's going to damage this stuff that much. I just don't. So it's, I mean, it's, for having been cut for over 2 days now, it's, some of it's just as green as when we cut it. And leaving this just to sit, and, you know, leaving it windrowed and then just not spreading it back out, this is what'll rot right here where all that moisture is. And that's not what I want. I don't want this stuff to smell funky when we go through and bale it. But be feeling a lot better once it's wrapped up and in a bale. I mean, I could run 3 balers, but that rhino rake going at mock chicken, I think will only keep ahead of the 2 bigger balers anyway. And I mean, maybe Dale would run a baler for me. He could run the 3rd one, right? So we're winding down on making hay and everything down at the valley. I mean, the trees are just now starting to turn. So we've had some, well, there's one up there that's turning orange. But we're about a week or 2 ahead when we normally make this cutting down here, the last cut down here. But I really don't feel like I'm going to regret only taking 2 cuttings off of it for this year. You got to be flexible, variable weather, and we did not have the weather that would have allowed 3 cuttings. I would have been super disappointed with this if I would have tried to take a 3rd cutting off. The reason I can say that is because the stuff on the other side of the river looks like it was made a little while ago, and it's come back, but not enough to where you'd probably justify cutting it again. So in theory, I gained maximum tonnage by just letting it grow. What is a little impressive though, I'm not seeing it so much through here, but on the lower reclaim stuff, how much that is greening up again already for having been cut for 2 days. So I mean, with this, I don't want to see a whole super lot of regrowth. I think that actually plays, I do believe that plays into my year next year by waiting long enough and putting myself through the stress of trying to get this stuff dried and made in late September. Ideally, you're not going to have a whole lot of regrowth. I'm not saying I don't want any, but trying to keep this ground a little bit more exposed for next year, that'll allow it to dry out before my first cut starts coming in, because those low spots up there, I'm not expecting to be able to keep 100% of what's cleared off right now, at least for a first cut, but I might get a little bit more of it, especially opening up a very clear definitive area where the water is pooling and getting a better idea about what that is. So I got to get back to tedding because don't have much to do, but it's already almost pushing 5 o'clock and it's gonna be dark within 2 hours.